What's up, everyone? Welcome into the Front Yard Fantasy Hour presented by FanDuel. I'm your host, Simon, joined as always by my co-hosts, Jay and John Luke. What's up, boys?
What up?
What's happening?
You doing all right on this Thursday afternoon?
Doing fantastic. This is the best Thursday I've had 3 weeks.
In 3 weeks. Wow, what an accomplishment, Jay. I'm so proud of you. Happy that your last month has been that great. That today's the best one out of all of them. Guys, also joining us today, we have our great friend and even better fantasy analyst, Jake Ciely, on the show with us today. He's the senior writer over at The Athletic and the president of Flex Leagues. Jake, thank you so much for joining us today.
Of course. Breaking news. Cooper Kupp underwent successful tightrope surgery, apparently. So I think I don't know. I didn't know that's what it's called. Tightrope surgery.
Sounds more impressive than normal surgery.
People are making shit up now. I heard previously they were going to repair him with zip ties, and now he had tightrope surgery.
Zip ties is the story this morning.
Are you guys getting your information from one of those fake verified accounts now? Like, the blue check doesn't matter anymore, right? Like, you got to double check.
Oh my god! Like,
does it have the double verification?
Is there a double? I just put it as part of my banner. I just screenshotted my old verification and put it as part of my banner.
now there's a regular one and also a official verified. So
I get all my news from Snapple caps. I just drink a lot of Snapple whenever I'm craving news, and usually there's some updates on the bottom of those. You got to get the fresh
They still
ones,
do those?
Oh yeah, I don't think they're ever any of those.
Really?
Oh, except the Snapple bottles are plastic now instead of glass.
They're
still
not
put them in there,
plastic.
You don't get
to tell you like the weird stuff, like where they're saying gift horse in the mouth, like with stuff like that. Do they still do that random crap?
Absolutely.
I think so.
Without a doubt.
So.
But you got to handle
Honestly,
a plastic bottle.
It's not a bad place to get your news, Simon. It's pretty smart, actually.
Yeah, you know what? It keeps it pretty positive around here. Guys, we got some people in the chat ready for today's show. Mr. Scamper's in here saying, FYF, so happy to have you in here. Carlos with the Front Yardigans Unite. Unite Front Yardigans. What's up, Carlos? Glad to have you in here. Guys, I see your questions in here. We're going to answer those throughout the show today. And a reminder, right after this, if we don't get into your question, we're going to be live for Fantasy Football Office Hours over on our YouTube channel at Front Yard Fantasy. So we'll answer your questions during today's show, but if we don't get to it, make sure you join Office Hours where Joey, myself, and our friend JB Barry are going to be answering your questions. We got Albert in here saying hello. What's up, Albert?
Hello.
And Dame in the chat as well. And Mr. Scampers wanted to know, Jake is a duck bag of money. Is that true, Jake?
It's just, can you ban people from the chat? Like,
yeah,
if you don't
absolutely.
understand, if you don't get the reference, like I can't put a tail. It's DuckTales. Because the bag money is Scrooge McDuck. Come on, seriously.
So, good news and bad news. We can ban people from the chat. We cannot ban cats from the chat.
No cat banning.
Mr. Scampers, it's just part of the rules of StreamYard. Yep.
Yeah, it's a PETA.
We don't want them to throw paint on us, so we got to avoid it.
PETA.
Big Trev in here. What's up, Big Trev? Welcome in. Glad to have you in here. And we got Panini in the chat saying, Jake, I'm in a rebuilding phase. He's targeting you with his question, Jake. Says I was offered a 2023 first and second and Gabe Davis for Trevor Lawrence in Superflex Dynasty. Would you take it? A first, a second, and Gabe Davis for Trevor Lawrence?
Now this could be for Big Trev. We don't know.
Who's Big Trev?
He's in the chat. Could be trading for Big Trev.
Okay. I was like, is there another Trevor I don't know of in the NFL that popped up? Like,
it's a Trev joke.
Well, but here's my issue with it. I don't mind the Gabe Davis because this is Gabe Davis. My issue is in a super flex. If you're rebuilding, you're not getting rid of Trevor Lawrence. This is the second year. I still that's not. It's not far off, but I don't want Gabe Davis. I want picks, and I want to keep Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, I'm with you. Trevor Lawrence is the perfect piece to build around in a rebuild. You got that young quarterback. I'm with you, Jake.
I think for fantasy, like he might cap out as Ryan Tannehill from like 2 or 3 years ago, which was that top 10-ish fringe, which is disappointing what he was hoped to be, but you still can't trade him away as Superflex for less than, you need a little bit more than that.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, we had some more people here in the chat. Maria in the chat saying hello from under JL's desk.
JL
said there's a really cute puppy under the desk as well. I think she's under there petting a puppy.
What's weird is that she is gone, but the dog is still here. Rosie's still here, but Maria is gone. She's vanished.
You think she's gone?
Just wait till she pops out. All of a sudden, she's gonna scare the snot
out of you. Out from the side of my chair.
Guys, today we brought Jake here to play a game we are calling Fantasy Fortune. It's a lot like the popular TV show Wheel of Fortune, but before we get into that, we're going to look at Jake's dog. And I have a couple reminders. So everyone stare at Jake's dog while I go through the reminders. First and foremost, if you're watching this right now and you're on YouTube, go ahead and hit that like button. Same on Facebook. Hit that like button for us. It's the easiest way to show your support for what we're doing and for Jake's dog under his desk. After you do that, make sure you're checking out FanDuel across all the other social platforms. You can find them on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. They're at FanDuel everywhere, and there's a whole team of killer content creators almost as handsome and smart as we are, helping you guys win your leagues. Grim fan in here, before we get into our game, had a question. Said, I have Stephon Diggs in a league, and with the Browns-Bills game being moved to Ford Field at the same time, my question is, do you suggest starting him, or do you think the new field will affect his value? You start Stephon Diggs. This is you are thrilled that this is moving out of the Thunder-Snow game in Buffalo, and you're starting Stephon Diggs with all confidence, Grim fan.
All of your might.
Born to Laugh, you want to know Jalen Virgil, Alec Pierce, Terrace Marshall Jr., or Devin Duvernay, or Michael Gallup. He needs to pick two of these players in a half PPR league. Jake, which two of those would you be plugging in? The last two?
Yeah, Duvernay and Gallup. I want nothing to do with Marshall now that Baker's back at quarterback, unfortunately. And Matt Ryan forgot who Alec Pierce is ever since Paris Campbell took off 5 weeks ago. And then Jalen Virgil, that's Judy's iffy, but I'm not going for a one-catch Virgil play.
Yeah, it's going to be Duvernay and Gallup for me as well. Jay, do you agree?
Yep. Yeah.
There we go. Carlos had another question for us. Said, which side do you prefer, Diggs and Hunt or Chubb and Debo? So I'm guessing this is a redraft league. JL, which side do you want, the Diggs plus Hunt side or the Chubb plus Debo side?
Is run through one more time, Simon?
Stephon Diggs and Kareem Hunt or Nick Chubb and Debo Samuel?
Diggs or Hunt or Chubb and Debo. Diggs, I'd rather have Diggs than Debo. I'd rather have Chubb, obviously, than Hunt. The gap between Chubb and Hunt is much more significant than between Debo and Diggs. So I'll go the Chubb and Debo side.
I'm going to go the Chubb and Debo side as well. Jake, which side of this would you land on?
Yeah, I would go with the same.
Chubb and Debo. Guys, we're going to keep answering your questions throughout the show today, but we're going to get into our game of Fantasy Fortune. In between rounds, we'll answer your questions. And Raymond in here just letting us know about his needs. Says, I need 4 field goal kickers for Sunday's football. And we'll be on the lookout for those, Raymond. If anyone finds a field goal kicker, send him Raymond's way, okay? He's looking for 4 of them. Guys, the game we are playing today is called Fantasy Fortune. If you've ever played or watched the show Wheel of Fortune, it's a lot like that, but with an NFL or fantasy twist. Instead of spinning a wheel, contestants are going to be answering 50-50 NFL or fantasy-related trivia questions. Get the question right, you get to guess a letter that you think is in the puzzle, a consonant. For every consonant that shows up, you're going to add $500 to your round bank. You can do this up to 3 times in a row if you are successful. At any point, if you miss the question or if you go 3 in a row correct, we will move on to the next contestant. But after 3 questions and letters right, you get to bank all that money that you made. You'll have 5 seconds to solve the puzzle before it goes on to the next contestant. During your turn, at any point, except after a question has started being asked, you can buy a vowel at a cost of $100 per vowel that shows up on the board, or you can solve the puzzle. If you buy vowels, you're going to need to have a minimum of $500 in your round bank to be able to afford them. And if you are solving the puzzle, you will earn a minimum of $1,000 into your total bank. That's not $1,000 plus. So if you've got $2,500, you're just earning $2,500. But if you've got $500, you will get that minimum of $1,000. We'll go like this until we run out of puzzles or run out of time, at which point the person with the most money will be our Fantasy Fortune champion, and that Cole's Cash will be faxed to you right after the show.
Quiche.
Cold, hard Cole's Quiche is what you're going to be getting.
I am on my last pair of pants, so I really need that Cole's Cash.
What's happened to the other ones, J.O.?
Oh, Maria was under the desk. That's what happened.
The buttons. I thought you were just like sliding on your knees all around the place, like doing
and down
really
too
cool
far,
knee
and all of a
slides.
sudden the button pots, and I hate myself for the rest of the day.
Pop! I hate when that happens. It's the worst feeling ever. Guys, we're about to get into this game. Jake, Jay, JL, you guys ready?
Yep.
Do it.
Here we go. Everything I said about the first puzzle, throw it away because we're doing a toss-up here. This is a toss-up puzzle, which means there are no questions being asked. What I'm going to do is slowly reveal letters in this NFL player's name. When you think you know it, say your name, and you will have a shot at solving the puzzle. Get it right, you're going to add $500, and you get to go first in the first actual round. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's do it. I'm going to start revealing letters. Say your name if you think you know who the player is.
JL.
Jay.
Oh, I almost. Do I get it first? Almost saying it first.
I heard JL's name first. Had I heard the first, Jake, I would have given it to you because I've heard that's your nickname.
Well, that's
depending on the
I
circle.
heard they call you
technically
Jake,
you're Jay first because that's the first part of his name, so I should get a guess.
No. JL, who do you think this player is?
This is the illustrious Adam Thielen.
This is Adam Thielen, John Luke. That is going to add $500 to your round bank. $500. And I did want to ask you guys before we move on to this next puzzle about Adam Thielen. With TJ Hawkinson in town, people are talking that TJ Hawkinson is there because of Adam Thielen's decline. He's still getting about 7 targets a game. But Jake, do you think Adam Thielen is still startable for fantasy football? Are you holding on to him in redraft leagues?
No, startable, but it's a floor play. Actually, somebody even came at me in my ranks this week and like, wow, behind Drake London and blah, blah. I was like, yeah, because if you want to get 6 points, go right the hell ahead. I don't really care about that one side. He's a wide receiver 4, and in wide receiver 4s in that range, I'm shooting for upside. And if you look at this year, Adam Thielen just doesn't have the touchdown capital he used to have. That's what we loved about Thielen. Even Thielen at his peak, there was the touchdown capital. It's just not there this year. So I'm not too excited about him.
I'm with you. Jay, are you on the same page as Jake? You got a little more optimism for Mr. Thielen.
Nah, I pretty much nailed it. You want the touchdowns, and you're not getting them anymore. So,
Gotcha. Well, Jay,
I'm a little more bullish on Adam Thielen this week. He's going against Dallas. That matchup isn't too bad. Vegas expects this to be a high-scoring game. 48 is the total Vegas is setting here. Yeah, Adam Thielen's probably a fine play this week. Long term, I'm with you guys. I'm not as excited.
The chat was on top of this one. Jay, you were showing some of them. Maria, Mr. Scampers, Albert, DJ all got this one, and Grim fan as well. Nice job, guys, on that one. Before we move on to our next puzzle, in which JL is going to go first, we had a question in here from the previously mentioned Big Trev. Big Trev wanted to know, what's up, y'all? I need 2 of these guys, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Kadarius Toney, Rondale Moore, Adam Thielen in a full PPR league. John Luke, which 2 of these players would you be plugging into your lineup?
Oh boy! All right, I'm gonna lock in Rondale Moore, PPR, and I'm gonna lock in Toney this week.
Toney is the second option. Rondale Moore, is that even if Marquise Brown is back? Moore's still locked in for you?
It becomes a little less enticing. I don't expect Marquise Brown to play a ton of this game, even if he does play. It's just a little too risky for me. But yeah, Rondale Moore, either way, I'd be throwing him in there. I'm also concerned with Kyler Murray. If he doesn't play this week, Rondale Moore might not have the best game. But these 2 guys are the main ones I'm sticking with.
Jake, which 2 would you be plugging in out of this bunch?
So first, I want to come back at JL for the matchup before that because only 2 wide receivers have topped 75 yards against the Cowboys this year, Cooper Kupp and Christian Watson last week. I disagree hard.
Fair.
Anyway, the second part is I also
performances. You're probably right.
No, that's even like the second players are like usually in the 40s. So anyway, that being said, I actually disagree with this too. Not because if we knew Marquise Brown's out Saturday, even going against the 49ers, I would play Rondale Moore. But I'm not waiting because it's the Monday night game in Mexico. Yep, Marquise Brown, like you said, could be back. And if they're activating him and starting him in the same week, I don't expect the full 100% snap count, but that usually tells you they're going to get a good amount of work in their first game back. So it's Toney and DPJ for me, especially now the game has moved and Donovan Peoples-Jones, for whatever reason, is a god on the road and Mari Cooper sucks and Mari Cooper's a god at home and DPG sucks. DPG. Yeah, him too. But yeah, I would go Peoples-Jones and Toney, especially because Hardman just got put on IR too.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yep. Simon, you don't get the credit for that joke. Enough credit for that joke. That was a good one. Donovan Peoples Gnomes.
We had a question in here from DJ as well. He said, "What's up, guys? What's up, DJ? Thanks for stopping by." He said, "Hayden Hurst, Austin Hooper, or Tyler." I'm guessing Conklin. We're on a first name basis with Tyler Conklin now. Oh, it's after the question mark. I should have just kept on reading.
What if that was his name? What if his first name ended in a question mark?
I full on. If you needed evidence that I full on Ron Burgundy these comments, there it is right there. I hadn't even read the next word yet to know that Conklin was in this question. Jake,
he's the only one that's playing in the full PPR. Is what he's saying.
Yeah, Conklin
full PPR.
Well, Conklin full PPR. You got to go Tyler. Easy.
I don't like Conklin since Joe Flacco left. I mean, he was solid, but not what he was since Joe Flacco stopped playing quarterback. I would actually go Hayden Hurst until Jamar Chase gets back. Although, I mean, in this range, it's just Conklin or Hurst. It's not even Hooper, and then just flip a coin.
Yeah.
What about you, Jay?
Yeah, it's the tight end glob, and I like the chances of Hurst getting a touchdown better than I do Tyler Conklin.
Also, DJ, I was just messing with you, my man. That was more on me for reading it wrong. No oops necessary. Guys, we're going to keep hitting these questions throughout the game today, but it's time to get on to that next puzzle. The first real puzzle, the one that follows the rules that I mentioned previously. Contestants, out of the comments, if you're in there, back to the private chat, and we will load this next puzzle up. Puzzle number 2. This is a movie NFL player mashup. So examples that we've done previously: Boston Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Dude, where's my Derek Carr? A TV show we've done is Tim, Patrick, and Morty. So we can combine it in all sorts of stupid ways, but this is going to be a movie and a player smushed together in some dumb way. JL, you are up first here. The order is going to be you, then Jay after, and then Jake rounding it up. You ready for your first question, or would you like to solve this puzzle?
I am ready.
You're not going to solve it?
No, I can't solve it. I'm too dumb.
Oh, you're not dumb, JL. You're too smart to solve it right away.
If I was
Here
smart,
is
I
your
would've
JL.
Here is your first. What did you say, Jake? I missed.
I said I finally agree with JL.
we finally found common ground.
John Luke, your first question is going to be about season-long fantasy points. So this is fantasy points scored up to this point in the season through 10 weeks. Who has more PPR fantasy points through 10 weeks? Who has more PPR fantasy points? Is it Christian Kirk or is it Jamar Chase?
Oh, I look like an idiot either way. I'm going to go Christian Kirk.
Christian Kirk is correct, JL.
Woo!
Nice job. Jamar Chase has got him beat by about 4 points on a point-per-game basis, but Christian Kirk's had enough big games recently to overcome that. John Luke, which letter would you like?
I will take an H.
An H. There are 2 H's in this puzzle.
I don't know why I picked H. What an idiotic letter.
That is a pretty dumb letter to pick.
Hey, that added $1,000 to your round bank, John Luke. What do you want to do next?
By luck. I got lucky. I'll take another question.
Okay, JL, who has more PPR fantasy points through 10 weeks of the season? Is it Darnell Mooney or is it Romeo Dobbs?
Mooney.
Mooney is absolutely correct. Which letter would you like, JL?
I'll take a T.
T. There are 1, 2, 3 T's in here. JL, going to add 1,500 to your round bank. What's next? This is your last opportunity to buy a vowel if you would like to do so, or you can solve this puzzle or take your final question.
I'll just take a final question here.
Okay, one more question for John Luke. JL, who has more PPR fantasy points through 10 weeks of the season? Is it Aaron Jones or is it Antonio Gibson?
Antonio Gibson.
I'm sorry, JL.
No!
It is Aaron Jones, PPR
Fuck.
running back 8 through the first 10 weeks of the season.
Wow.
Which means we're moving on to Jay. Jay, would you like a question? Would you like to solve, or those are your only options?
Let's go with a question.
A question. Jay, who has more PPR fantasy points through the first 10 weeks? Is it Tyler Boyd or is it Chris Godwin?
Go Tyler Boyd.
Tyler Boyd is correct. Jay, which letter would you like?
Let's go with an S.
An S. There is 1 S in this puzzle. Going to add 500 to your round bank. What would you like to do now, sir?
Let's go to another question.
Another question. Okay, my question for you, Jay, is who has more PPR fantasy points through the first 10 weeks of the season? Is it Paris Campbell or is it DJ Moore?
You son of a bitch. I'm gonna go with Paris Campbell.
I'm sorry, it is
you tricked
DJ
me.
Moore,
Yes,
Jay. Which means we are moving on to Jake. Jake, would you like a question or would you like to solve this puzzle?
Question?
A question. I would like to
Question?
ask, sometimes people just like full on Rain Man this thing and just pull the puzzle out of nowhere.
Shit. That's all I
Your
read right now.
first question is, who has more PPR fantasy points through the first 10 weeks of the season? Is it Curtis Samuel or is it Tyler Lockett?
Lock it.
Lockett is correct, Jake. Which letter would you like?
N.
An N. There are no N's in this puzzle,
Seriously?
Jake, unfortunately.
Oh, that's fine. Barkley's got to go to the bathroom anyway.
He says, don't get back to me. JL, that means we are on to your turn.
Jake always struck me as like a pee pad kind of guy.
I can see that.
Wait for
I
him or
don't,
for
I don't
Barkley?
know why. Yes.
They share. Do they use the same one, or do they each
They
have their
use
own
the same
designated
exact one. He only has one.
and they never change it. They
No.
just collect it.
But
John Luke, would you like
Put
a
it in the washing
question? Would you
machine
like
and
to
reuse it every time.
would you like to buy a vowel, or would you like to solve?
I will buy a vowel here, Simon. May I buy an E?
You may buy an E. There are one,
Woo!
2, 3 E's. Gonna subtract 3.
Shoosh,
Oops.
shoosh.
I added lots of money to your score on accident.
Barkley actually uses the toilet. I just need to help her with the wipes.
Okay. Not a pee pad household. It's a toilet household.
So this is a number 2 situation for Barkley.
We had a family friend that would wipe their dog's ass after it pooped. I'd never seen that before. Every time. Every time would bring wet wipes on the walks and would wipe their dog's butt every time it pooped. And I was just like, I never said anything because I was like, yo, I don't know your dog's needs, but I was like, I'm not wiping my dog's butt. Like,
I have a question
It
for
might
you guys.
not be a bad idea though, because I back in my college days we had a LAN party at my buddy's house. You guys don't know about all that. Don't have to do that anymore. But his boxer, boxer is probably like 50 to 60 pounds. That would always sit on your lap. I just so happened to have a white T-shirt. Nope. Well, he wiped his ass on me. He sat on my lap and literally his tail up went down. I had a streak.
Hell yeah.
I'm not joking. It had to be
Smeared
about
your chest,
8
bro.
inches long. I was laughing so hard. I literally we were laughing. Nobody was making a sound because we were laughing so hard for a solid 2-3 minutes.
Sound of
That's
his rectum
disgusting.
rubbing against your white shirt.
that shit
It
would
was
have
one
been
of those things I saw it
so
happen in
fast.
slow motion, and there was nothing I could do about it.
That's hilarious.
Embrace it. It's a free tie-dye shirt. JL,
Toilet paper.
it is still your turn. You purchased a vowel. Would you like your first question? Would you like to buy another vowel, or would you like to solve this puzzle?
I will take another question.
Another question for JL. JL, who has more PPR fantasy points through the first 10 weeks of the season? Is it Chase Claypool, or is it Drake London?
You're brutal today, Simon.
I know. Claypool.
I'm sorry, it is Drake London, John Luke, which means it's back to Jay's turn. Jay, would you like to buy a vowel? Would you like another question, or would you like to solve?
Let's go with the question.
Okay, Jay, who has more PPR fantasy points through 10 weeks of this season? Is it Gabriel Davis, or is it Jerry Jeudy?
Gabe Davis.
Gabe Davis is absolutely correct. Jay, which letter would you like?
Let's go with a K.
A K. There are no
Hey.
Ks in this puzzle,
Process of elimination.
which means, Jake, we're back to you. No harm, no foul. Jay, I
All
just gave you a couple vowels on the board. Would you like a question? Would you like
You're
to
welcome.
solve? Or those are your only options?
No, I mean I think I know what the second word is already, but let's do a
Oshkosh
question.
Bagash.
Yes,
Yes.
that was
That
actually
is the
exactly
word.
what I was going with.
It's the only clothes I'll wear.
Yeah.
Jake, here is your question. Who has more PPR fantasy points through the first 10 weeks of the season? Is it Travis Etienne, or is it Kenneth Walker?
ATN.
Etienne is correct. Jake, which letter would you like?
L.
An L. There are
Oh.
3 L's in this puzzle. Going to give you 1,500 into your round bank. You can solve, buy a vowel, or take your second question here.
I know one of these
So
words.
The, right?
Obviously, you're welcome.
The.
The question I have actually is this like the real life where? So do the words go in like does the words go 2, 3, 4, or can like 2 skip to 4 and 3 skip? Like, you see what I'm saying? Like there's categories. Do you get what I'm trying to
I
ask?
have no idea what you're
No
saying,
clue
Jake,
what you're
for being
saying.
honest.
Not a single
You
idea.
said it's a combination. So it's 1, 2, 3, and then 3, 4. Like it's 2. Like it doesn't skip a word.
Like the name and the word can be blended together.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying? Yeah.
Ah,
Yes.
So like we did Tim, Patch, Rick, and Morty. is
And
one
that
we
was-
did.
Okay, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. So, but it. Okay, so Pat, it can't. Okay, that's what.
Can't
Okay,
spread
there we
across
go.
one word. Simon loves those.
Yes.
Just
Okay.
give you that
Okay.
insight,
So that's what I was trying to ask. There we
They
go.
can
So-
be
It's a good
really
question.
stupid if that's your question.
All
They
right.
can be really
Yes.
dumb.
Yeah.
I don't know how I would
I-
ask that
I got-
same
I
question,
got
Jake.
that.
So I don't
you see
blame
what I'm saying? So it's
now that
like
I'm thinking about it, I
yeah.
have no idea how I would bring that.
Here's
So
how
like,
it works.
Like
There's
a,
no
like
rules.
a like a Wheel of Fortune would be like cherry and pecan pie. So pie is for both, and I was trying to figure out,
Right.
but he actually even mixes words. So anyway, I'll buy an A. How about that?
With that being said, give me an A. There are 3 A's in this puzzle. Going to subtract 300 from your round bank. Would you like a question? Would you like to solve, or would you like another? Or would
Wait,
you like to buy a
what was
vowel?
the combination? A movie?
Yeah, a movie and a player.
Okay, hold on a second.
I got the player.
I'm gonna bonk you if you take too long.
Well, obviously, I will. I'll take another question.
The little count to make sure. Here is your question: who has more PPR fantasy points through the first 10 weeks of the season?
Oh,
Is it
I got it.
Cole
I
Kmet?
got it.
Or is it George Kittle?
That would miss so many. Miss so many
Kmet
games.
is correct. It's a little closer than I usually try to make them, but you saw through the trick. Jake, which letter would you like?
M.
An M. There are 2 M's in this puzzle. Going to add 1,000 to your score. That's your second question. So this is your last opportunity to buy vowels this turn if you would like to do so, or you can solve or take that final question.
Oh my God, you're so dumb.
Don't let it get to me.
What do
'cause
you
I know
like?
what it is.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. The combined word crap. Like that's. Wait. Oh wait. So can you do you use parts of words too?
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, I'll take a stab at it. Like because you left out part of a word is what I'm getting. The little Joshua Palmerade.
I am sorry, Jake, and you might kill me, but the little Joshua
Palmerade, like Palmermaid. Like you left out mermaid. You left out the mer for mermaid. It's hard to say. The
Okay,
little
you know
Joshua Palmermaid.
Yes,
Palmerade.
I'm going to give that to you.
Palmerade.
That is
Palmerade.
absolutely what it is.
Okay,
It is the
yeah.
little
The
Joshua
little what?
Palmermaid
Palmermaid.
is what this
Palmermaid.
puzzle is.
Little Joshua, but read.
This is one of the
This
dumbest
is-
ones I've ever come up with.
Yeah,
but
you-
the little
you're an idiot.
Joshua Paul Mermaid is the answer to this puzzle. The chat was on top of it. Dame 5 minutes ago with the little Joshua Paul Mermaid.
Oh, actually, no, wait. I'm the idiot. It does say mermaid. I was thinking.
Yeah.
We got the whole mermaid in there. That's okay. You ended up saying it. Palmerade is the new line of sports drinks coming out this fall.
Yeah.
Palmerade. Now the Mike Williams
Half
injuries.
as much sugar.
No, it's twice as much sugar. I thought.
Oh
is
yeah,
what it
you're
was.
right.
He's doubling the sugar in that one. Nice job, everyone. Also, Mr. Scamper says, Jake, dumb it down a bit. Get to their level.
There you go. I did. I dumbed it down too far. That's
Got to think stupid if you want to win this game.
Right.
It's gonna put
Simon, are you using
2,200.
actual words, or are you just making up words, or what's going on here?
I mean, it's exactly what's on the board right there. So Palmer.
I mean, my brain wasn't functioning. I was thinking Palmer, and then he didn't include the rest of the mermaid word, and it's right there. Like it just, you went over my head with this one, Simon.
It was not a great one, but that makes it the best one. Guys, we had some people in the chat with some questions for us before we hit our next puzzle. Jake's got an early lead after solving that one. Jose said Lazard or Drake for my flex in half PPR.
Lazard.
So, Lazard for you, Jake. What about you, Jay?
Yep, Lazard.
It's going to be Lazard
Gus
for me
back.
as well.
The Gus Bus. Fire him up. He's back.
Tommy
I was
wanted to
thinking
know
Drake
who's...
London.
Oh, no. I'm assuming
That makes
Oh.
it right. I mean, both make sense there. Probably
It's Lazard
pretty
either way for me, whether it's Drake
I would still go.
London
Yeah, I
or...
would still go Lazard too.
Tommy wants to know who's better to keep for the remainder of the year, Isaiah Pacheco, Kenyon Drake, or Christian Watson. Jay, which of these players would you be keeping?
It really just depends on your team needs. Definitely, it's between Pacheco and Watson because, like Jake said, Gus Bus is going to be back. If not this week, he's trending. J.K. Dobbins is going to come back. I would probably. This is tough. If I had to pick, I'd probably say Christian Watson. I like the upside of him potentially being the wide receiver 1 in Green Bay.
Jake, you think it's Pacheco?
Only Pacheco because it's harder to find running backs at this point of the year. Like
Is it
I don't disagree
Pacheco
with
or
Jay.
is it Pacheco? Because it's been messing
Yeah,
me
I've-
up a lot.
Yes.
Okay, exactly. So like officially, like some official team site stuff says Pacheco, and that's what I changed it to. I was saying Pacheco, which somebody says
is
should
like-
be like Pacheco. It's whatever. Isaiah.
Yeah, let's go with
incorrectly.
Isaiah.
How about
that?
Also missing an A.
Can we call him Easy P? How about that? Easy P.
Easy.
P.
That's perfect. Guys, we're going to move on to our next puzzle
I got
now.
some easy P for you.
Do you, JL?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, we're going to move on to our next puzzle. This one, the category is going to be NFL teammates. Jake, since you solved that puzzle, that means JL is going to get to go first in this next round since he goes after you. Jake has a lead of 2,200 to 500 to 0. John Luke, out of the chat, and would you like to solve this puzzle, or do you want a question?
I am out of the chat, and I would like a question.
Okay, my question for you is, who has more rushing yards so far on the season? Is it Dameon Pierce, or is it Ramondre Stevenson?
Ooh, good one. I like
That
that.
is tough. I'm gonna go. I'll go Ramondre Stevenson.
What was that, JL? Are you okay?
It was pain. It was pain.
He was trying to stop from doing what Barkley just did. He was holding it in.
Pee on my pee pad.
Well, John Luke, I'm proud of you for not
It
shitting
was
yourself,
the other guy.
but you got this question wrong.
Yeah,
It is
classic.
Dameon Pierce with 772 to Ramondre 618, which means, Jay, it is your turn.
Question before Jay goes: do they share a name, or is this just two separate names?
It's a first name, last name, ampersand, first name, last name is what we got here. So
All right.
two full names. Good question.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not just throwing names together willy-nilly in these other puzzles. Jay, who has more
Brian.
rushing who has more rushing yards so far on the season? Jay, who has more rushing yards? Is it Joe Mixon or is it Miles Sanders?
Gonna go with Miles Sanders.
Miles Sanders is correct, Jay, with 710 to Joe Mixon's 585. Which letter would you like?
That's so dumb.
You're so dumb. Let's go with sorry, JL. I love you. With an R.
Just accurate. Just factual.
There are two R's in this puzzle, Jay. Gonna add 1,000 to your round bank. Would you like to buy a vowel, solve, or take another question?
Just take another question.
Okay, another question. Who has more rushing yards so far on the season? Who has more rushing yards? Is it Khalil Herbert or is it Raheem Mostert?
Ooh, that's a good one. I'm gonna go with Khalil Herbert.
By exactly 100 yards, Jay, you are correct. Which letter would you like?
Let's go with an S.
An S. There are two S's in this puzzle. Can add another grand to your round bank. This is your last opportunity to buy vowels. You can solve or you can take your final question.
Let's buy an E.
An E. There are two E's in this puzzle. Going to subtract 200. Would you like to buy another vowel, take your final question, or solve?
Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's get crazy. Let's buy an A.
An A. There are two A's in this puzzle. Going to subtract another 200, Jay. The options remain the same. What are you doing here?
Let's go ahead and take another question.
Okay, your last question. Get this one right and get the letter right. You will add this money to your total bank, Jay. Who has more receiving yards so far on the season? Who has more receiving yards? Is it Chris Olave or is it T. Higgins?
Let's go with.
That's interesting. Damn,
That's a
Sion,
good
bringing
one.
the heat today.
You really are. I'm gonna go with Chris Olave.
Chris Olave is correct, Jay. 658 to T. Higgins, 564. Which letter would you like?
I wish I had some sense of what any of these names are. I have no clue. Let's go with
Yeah, me too.
Let's go with a T.
A T. There is one T in this puzzle. Going to add 500. Jay, you got 5 seconds to solve, or we are going to move on to the next contestant.
Master Teague.
No
Jake,
clue.
you're giving him the answer. Bonk. Jay, that means we're moving on to Jake. Jake, would you like to solve this puzzle, or would you like a question?
God, I actually know who one of them is.
Could be Mr. Brett.
No.
Reminder, the category is NFL teammate, so these are players on the same team, not just two random players.
Definitely not Mr. Bread.
Right. Give me a question.
Okay, a question for Jake. Here's your question. Who has more rushing yards so far on the season? Who has more rushing yards? Is it David Montgomery or is it Josh Allen?
Oh, wow. Josh Allen.
That is correct, Jake. Nice job.
Wow.
Man. Which letter would you like?
I know what the first one is. So give me an M.
An M. There are two M's in this puzzle. Going to add $1,000.
Foster Moreau and Mac Hollins.
Foster Moreau and Mac Hollins.
I knew it was Foster Moreau.
That I could not. I was like, Chester, Esther, like, what the heck is that
Guster.
first name?
Puster. Yeah,
Jake
it
nailed
could be
that
wild.
one. Gonna add $1,000 to your round.
I was the Mac Hollins is what I was struggling. I was trying to like, who the hell is the teammate with the short first name? Because it wasn't Josh Jacobs, obviously.
It was just
Mac
Did,
Hollins sounds
I earned some Coles cash that round. Thank you very much.
We'll add it to you. I'll make sure you get your money. Do you remember how much you had, Jay?
Why
2100.
does Mac Collins sound like a Christmas decoration?
Mac Hollins? I don't know. What does that Christmas decoration look like, JL?
It's red.
Yeah. What?
It's red? Oh,
Yeah.
of course it's red. Before we move on to the next puzzle, Jake, I did want to ask you, with both Darren Waller and Hunter Renfrow going on the IR, are
Mac
either of
Hollins is
these
wide receiver
players
3.
elevated into fantasy relevance?
Yeah, Mac Hollins is a wide receiver 3, and Foster Moreau is in that conversation with the Hayden Hurst of the world. Absolutely. I actually have Foster Moreau as a tight end 1 this week, and I have Mac Hollins as a wide receiver 3 this week, especially because as everybody's like, Cortland Sutton's inside your top 15. There are 7 top 20 wide receivers and Cooper Kupp out this week. So, yeah, you kind of have to put these wide receivers higher this week.
Yeah, it is a gross week. John Luke,
don't
do you have
talk about
interest in
Cooper
these
Kupp.
players?
That hurts too much.
Yeah, I think they're good bye week fill-in guys that you can flex in. I'm not particularly excited to start any of them. I'm curious, Jake. We've talked extensively this week on the Josh McDaniels, just the entire Raiders problems. What is your take on that? Like, what is going wrong for the Raiders?
Josh McDaniels.
And it can fully be placed on Josh McDaniels?
I think it's Josh McDaniels, but it's compounded by the fact that he was trying to he's trying to remake the team. You saw how much talent they jettisoned. Well, talent in quotes because of what happened from before. So any new coach comes in and tries to remake the team for the talent. Look at what Brandon Dable did with the Giants. Look at how many players are like. Remember, we were sitting here in August and like, oh my God, Dable cut blank. And like Blake Martinez, and then and granted Blake Martinez just retired, but I think if you look at it, Josh McDaniels tried to make the roster his from what he could, and he's just also not a very good head coach. It's clear. So, yeah, I'm actually surprised. I have a question for you guys because you said the holiday thing. When is too early to put out Christmas decorations?
Never.
Yes.
Thank you.
No,
This is America.
the day after Thanksgiving.
Jay,
No,
no one
because
needs your freaking
I will
Christmas
quote my
coincidence.
niece. I never heard this before. My niece is a genius. She said, "Thanksgiving is a day, Christmas is a season."
I thought you were say a vibe.
With that being
It's a
said,
lifestyle.
we're getting our Christmas tree on Saturday, so shows how much.
Oh,
fun I have
we
now.
haven't finished it, but we put ours up in the window because the AO are like a bunch of assholes around here. So we already put the Christmas tree up in the
Nice.
window just for that, just to have lights in the window. So yeah,
Are you guys a real or fake Christmas tree folks?
Gotta be real.
Real.
I was real. Until
Me too, Jake.
yeah, I'm fake now.
I'm way too
I'm
lazy.
fake.
Yeah,
I actually bought a
Forget
really
that.
nice fake one, but yeah,
Yeah.
I did the real for about 5 years, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing this anymore.
I was all about the real as a kid, and then I completely switched as soon as I became an
The
adult.
real
Lazy.
for me is one we grew up with it too. The fun of going to pick out the Christmas tree with the kids every year.
That's
Sure,
just
but
work
you
as
also
an
have to
adult.
have a place where it's easy to get it to the curb, and they actually
I
have
hate
pickup.
Yeah, and they
It's
do.
just like
There's-
remote yard work as an adult, though. Like it's not that super that interesting. It's just
Because you're missing the best part of having a real
Well, then
Christmas
here,
tree.
Jay,
It's
this
light.
is just for you. You already saw it. Here we go. I'll play it again for you. There you go.
Beautiful.
There you go.
Because the best part about a real Christmas tree is then after Christmas, you get to light it on fire in your backyard and watch it just go up. You've never lit a Christmas tree on fire? They burn so fast. It's
I
exciting.
have I've got like an acre and a half. I just go back to the fence and throw it over, and we have a Christmas tree
Oh, look.
graveyard in our backyard.
Thank you, Jay, with the humble brag. I have an acre and a half.
yeah.
Just saying, it's not like I got a small yard and throwing them in the backyard. I got
I
a
have a-
big pile of Christmas trees. In my
I have a
backyard.
pile of dirt that won't grow grass in the city.
Guys, before we move on to our next puzzle, Tommy had a question for us. Want to know Paris Campbell or Christian Watson PPR for the remainder
wow.
of the season? That's a tough one.
That is
Jake, which way are you
Well,
going here?
Can you guarantee that Matt Ryan's the starter for the rest of the year? Because if
Yes,
so,
I'll guarantee it right now.
I was. Yeah, if you guaranteed it right now, I would say Paris Campbell is the one for the rest.
Paris Campbell.
Look, it's undeniable what Matt Ryan just looks for Paris Campbell. He's like Jacoby Myers, but even a little bit better at this point. The Watson, I love Watson, and I agree with Jay. What Jay said earlier is that it could be the new 1 and 2, Lazard and Watson, but I just don't trust the Packers. I just don't trust that he's the I think he's got the higher ceiling. So if you want to play it that way, I would go Watson. But I think if we had to say the smarter play, but there's still I don't think it is a guarantee that Matt Ryan's the starter the rest of the year. I just talked myself into Watson. Screw it.
I was with you up until that last sentence, but what you said, if you're looking for upside, it's Watson. If you just want someone you can start week in, week out, like if you need a starter every week, it's Paris Campbell for me. Grimfan wanted to know Lambo or Crosby tonight. A kicker question. Jake, that is your specialty, is kickers, right?
Yeah. How heavily can you curse on your show? Because I was about to say, bleep off. Look, right here, you can see it.
As much as Daddy FanDuel will allow us.
We never get kicker questions. And of course, when Jake's on, it's when we start getting all the kicker questions.
Yeah, because we told him to come into the show.
The shirt is right here. I'll send you a shirt. How about that instead?
Grimfan, Jake is team band kickers. He wears the shirt all the time.
Not team. I am the originator. Get it right.
The originator. You're right. He is captain band kickers is what he is. John Luke, Lambo or Crosby? You got an opinion?
Yeah. Crosby.
Okay, nailed it. And Jay?
Neither.
Neither. Drop them both. No kickers for Jay. Guys, we're going to move on to our next puzzle. And our next puzzle is, I guess I should just tell you instead of being dramatic about it. Our next puzzle is a player song mashup. So this is going to be a song title and a player's name mixed into one. Jake is already thrilled about this puzzle.
Simon, am I going to have any clue?
Yes,
what the song
everyone will know what this song is. I promise.
My player is on a bye. Is that one?
And before, and all you guys are gonna be like, "Oh, is it for young people? Is it for old people?" You guys are gonna know. It's okay. John Luke, you're up first.
Wait, they still bank their money even though they didn't win the thing?
Jay, for getting 3 questions in a row and all 3 letters, we bank the money, then go on to the next person.
Okay.
JL got that from that first toss-up puzzle. That's it.
Okay.
Yep.
John Luke, you're up, though. Would you like a question or would you like to solve this puzzle?
Oh, I'm going to get out of the chat. I need a question.
A question. Okay, JL, we're going to take a stroll on over to the FanDuel Sportsbook for this round. My question for you is, according to the FanDuel Sportsbook, who currently has better odds to win the Super Bowl? That is more favored to win the Super Bowl. Is it the Minnesota Vikings or is it the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
Panthers.
It's got to be the Vikings.
It is the Vikings, Dale, at plus 1,100 compared to the Buccaneers at plus 1,700. Which letter would you like?
One.
JL's quarterback.
Let's go with a T.
T.
The Bucs are still 17-1?
17-1 right now is where they're sitting at. JL, that is going to add 500 to your round bank for the one T that showed up. Would you like
a little low T today? I'll take another question.
Puzzle. Another question. Okay, JL, my question for you is, who has more rushing touchdowns on the season? Who has more rushing touchdowns so far on the season? Is it Jalen Hurts or is it Ezekiel Elliott?
God.
Come on.
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts is correct with 7 to Zeke's 4. Which letter would you like, John Luke?
Wow, Zeke only has 4. That's terrible. Let's go with a. I just feel like that last word's teat. I just can't get it out of my brain. It's just stuck, even though I know that there's not another T there.
For that.
But thank you for lemon teat.
It's meat.
It's stuck in my head. It's meat teat. All right, let's go with an S.
Say meat teat. We can't just let that slide that you just said
You
that
can
out
curse
loud.
as much as you want, but meat teat is where Daddy FanDuel.
The last 2 words are spam meat. There you go. I just helped you.
JL, there was no S in that puzzle, unfortunately, which means we are moving on to Jay. Jay, you're up. Would you like a question or would you like to solve?
I want to solve. No, I'm just playing. Let's go with the question.
Okay. A question for Jay. We're going to go to the FanDuel Sportsbook as well. We're going to hit you with a Super Bowl question. Which of these teams is currently more likely to win the Super Bowl according to the FanDuel Sportsbook? Is it the Miami Dolphins or is it the Cincinnati Bengals?
Dolphins.
It is the Dolphins at plus 1,700 to the Bengals at plus 2,800. Jay, which letter would you like?
Let's go with an R.
An R. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 R's in this puzzle. Jay, getting that 2,500 to your round bank.
Should have went with R.
Would you like to solve this puzzle? Would you like to buy a vowel or would you like another question?
I would like to solve this puzzle.
Let's see what you got.
Suck it.
Let me make sure. Well, wait. Yeah, Joe Burrow, row your boat.
It is Joe Burrow, row your boat is the answer to this puzzle, Jay. That is absolutely correct.
Truly the most just the most abysmal work you've ever done, Simon. You should be absolutely ashamed of this puzzle.
Why? It's a good puzzle. Row is
Terrible.
in his name. I just took one of the rows and made it part of the name.
So terrible.
Dustin was in here with a no-letter solve with Joe Burr. Row your boat. Nice job, Dustin.
Nice.
Jay-
He left out a row.
Someone said that, but no, there's only 3 rows. I looked it up on Wikipedia.
No, he left it. Dustin left out a row.
He did.
Oh, he did. Dustin left out a row. So
Bonk.
Dustin, bonk. Not
You know
gonna
how it
count
works around
right
here,
there.
Dustin. You're not new here.
There we go. And Grimfin was saying the same thing, saying we forgot a row. No, the first row's in the
No.
burrow. We got it right there.
So he had too many, and the other one had too few. Yeah.
And so Jay's
Somehow
was
this qualifies
just
Jay. I
right.
think that's what it does.
Guys,
Song
we
kinda
got a question
sucks.
in here before we move on to our next puzzle. Grimfan wanted to know Deontay Johnson, Chris Olave, Tyler Boyd, or the little Joshua Paul Mermaid. Needs to pick 2 of them in full PPR. JL, which 2 of these players are you going with? Deontay Johnson, Chris Olave, Tyler Boyd, and Joshua Palmer.
Let me pull up their matchups real quick here. I think I'm going to be starting. I'm going to start Chris Olave. He's locked in for sure. Joshua Palmer, until we get some clear news on Mike Williams and Keenan Allen, I'd just be staying away from him. Deontay Johnson and Tyler Boyd are both more enticing than Joshua Palmer for me this week. I'll go Tyler Boyd. I'll go Chris Olave and Tyler Boyd this week.
Chris Olave and Tyler Boyd. What about you, Jake? Which 2 of these would you be picking out?
Yeah, it's Olave and Boyd, unless I needed the floor, and then I would go with Deontay. Even though he's only catching half the passes, there's still everybody thinks it's not happening. The volume is there. By the way, I just saw on Twitter that Daniel Popper actually tweeted Allen and Mike Williams were both running routes today.
Both running routes. Wow.
I'll
You see that
believe
quote, Jake? It was like, yeah, they might play, they might not.
I was just like,
They asked Mike
Hopefully.
Williams, and he said maybe. And then they asked Keenan Allen, he said, I hope. Like, those were their answers. Maybe and I hope were the answers to, are you going to play this Sunday? Huh? Your guess is as good as mine. We'll see. We'll see. Jay, that is going to give you the lead, and we are going to move on to our next puzzle now. Jake, you are going to go first on this next one. Here is your category. Your category is going to be 3rd round NFL draft picks. So it's 2 players, first name, last name, ampersand, first name, last name. And both of these players were selected when they were drafted into the NFL in the 3rd round. Jake, would you like a question or would you like to solve this puzzle?
Solve it. Solve it, coward.
Don't tell me what to do. You're not my real dad.
Question, Jake.
Papa J.O.
Let's do it. Here's your question. Which one of these teams is currently has better odds to win the Super Bowl according to the FanDuel Sportsbook? Which of these teams has better odds to win the Super Bowl according to the FanDuel Sportsbook? Is it the Dallas Cowboys or is it the Tennessee Titans?
The tough one.
I know. Thank you for that, because the sports book is going to be weighted for the freaking Cowboys homers. I'm going to say the Cowboys are pushing it down.
You are 100% right. It is the Cowboys at plus 1,500.
That's like
compared
the
to
Bucks
Titans at
one.
plus 2,800. Yeah. So 1,500 for the Cowboys. 15-1 odds to win the Super Bowl seems a little ridiculous for them. But Jake, which letter would you like?
Yes. I will follow suit with Jay and go with the R.
R. There are 2 R's in this puzzle. Going to add $1,000 to your round bank. Would you like to buy a vowel? Would you like your next question, or do you want to solve this puzzle?
I need another question.
Okay, another question. Here's your question: Who has more
Wait. They're not on the same team, right? It's just 3rd round picks in general, right?
3rd round draft picks? And I am going to say, since I started this question, you're going to have to answer it before you can guess if you think you solved this puzzle.
No. I just want to make sure that they have to be teammates. That's all.
Nope. Don't have to be on the same team. Don't have to be drafted in the same year. Just guys that were drafted in the 3rd round. That's what they got in common.
Okay.
Who has more rushing touchdowns so far on the season? Who has more rushing touchdowns? Is it Jamal Williams or is it Austin Eckler?
Williams.
Williams is correct with 9 compared to Eckler's 6. Which letter would you like, Jake?
N.
An N. There is one N in this puzzle. Going to add 500. This is your last opportunity to buy vowels. If you
That
would like
really
to do so
helps.
this
Just give me
round.
another question.
One more question. Who has more receiving yards so far on the season? Who has more receiving yards? Is it Devontae Adams or is it Mike Evans?
Why do you keep going with these tough ones? What do you think?
Give me easier ones.
With the big game that I'm gonna go with Adams. He had those 2 really big games.
It is Adams with 784 to Mike Evans 671 receiving yards. Which letter would you like, Jake?
RSTLNE. L.
L. There are 4 L's in this puzzle. Going to add $2,000. And Jake, you got 5 seconds to solve this puzzle. We're gonna
5 seconds.
You're gonna bank this money regardless. It's just to prevent someone else from getting to play. If you don't solve it in 5, we move on to jail. But you get your 3,500.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Well, you're gonna bank that 3,500. Jake giving you the lead, and it is Jail's turn. Jail, would you like a question or would you like to solve?
I think I can solve it, but I don't know if I should because I'm down by so many points. You know what? I'm going to do it.
Well,
I'm
that's
going to
spin.
Do it.
Okay, do it.
Travis Kelce and Russell Wilson.
Travis Kelce and Russell Wilson is
I couldn't get Russell Wilson. Nice.
JL.
Nice.
Well,
I wasn't
nice.
sure if they were both 3rd-round picks, but the names fit, so I just went with it.
They
You know
are
how
both-
like a name gets in your head and you get stuck? I
just
Randall
get-
and
yeah.
Randall doesn't fit, and I was like, then I got stuck.
I kept
As soon
going
as
Randall
you're up here
Cunningham,
playing.
but that's not
All
going
right,
to
actually, Randall does fit. Yeah.
Yeah, as soon as
Randall?
you're up here playing, you just get locked into a word, and your brain can't get off it. It's messed up.
Randall Coob is what that was.
I know. I was like, I'm trying to think like other Randalls in the NFL. I'm like,
I was looking at movies today trying to make these puzzles, and I was like, how the hell is there no one in the NFL named Ralph? There's not a single Ralph in the NFL.
You're gonna
We
do
can't do
Wreck-It
shit
Ralph?
with Wreck-It Ralph. Nothing. Can you guys think
I
of a
don't know.
Ralph?
I can't think of a single Ralph anywhere other than Wreck-It Ralph. It's the
Ralph
only Ralph I
Fiennes.
know.
Macchio.
But that's baseball.
Ralph Macchio, man.
Oh, yeah. The Karate Kid.
The Karate Kid himself. Guys, we had a question in here, and actually, I think that is going to be our last puzzle, which is mean Jake is going to win this game.
We got time.
With 6,700 to 4,600 to JL's
Undefeated
1,500.
streak continues.
I don't know what's better, that or you need a duck Christmas song is what you need. You need to sync those sounds up.
I have a poop emoji, and then I have the rainbow poop emoji, the really special one too.
We had a question in here from Grim. Grim wanted to know James Conner or Deonta Foreman. So, Jake, which of these players would you be starting this week? James Conner or Deonta Foreman?
I go with Connor off the workload, but also because I've said it a couple weeks, although it hasn't happened yet. I'm worried about Deonta Foreman if they start going pass happy and facing the Ravens. I think that could happen. And then if Hubbard does have that role and they don't let Foreman have that, which Foreman's kind of been in one role, I just that's a little bit concerned. I would just go Connor because I know he's getting 90% of the work.
Do you guys know how much the Ravens are favored by in this game?
100.
16.
13. They are 13-point favorites in
I was
this
gonna
game
go. I was
against
gonna
the
guess
Panthers.
13 until your expression made me think I had to go higher.
I mean, 13
Have
is
you
pretty
ever
damn
seen a
high.
16?
Have you?
Have-
Yeah,
have you- I don't think
I
I've
can't
ever
remember
seen
seeing a 16. I'm sure
point
they've been
spread.
out there.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's we've had like 20s.
some?
Like it's pushed. Yeah, there's a
Really?
handful of where it's happened. Don't forget, like the Lions were 0-16 a couple years ago. We almost had another 0 for team. There was
I
some.
think
Browns
the
were
Giants in the
16.
Super Bowl against the Pats were somewhere around there. It might have been like 15 or 14 or something like that.
Saw how that
Beautiful.
turned out.
And Joey in here saying I could have done Wreck-It Ray Ralph McLeod. That would have. I think Jake would have never come back on the show ever if I did
Wreck-It Ray
Ralph
McLeod.
McLeod.
That is beautiful.
That's the name of a fantasy
I would have got
team
that
for next year,
immediately.
Is Wreck-It Ray Ralph McLeod. I'm gonna
So
name
there
all
were
my fantasy teams.
nine instances in NFL history of being a 20+ point spread.
Okay, so
It
it's
was recent.
rare.
There you go. Chiefs Jets 2020 was week 8, 20.5 for
Oh.
the Chiefs.
Jeez.
That is wild. Jake,
Yeah.
I wanted to thank you so much for taking the time to come on with us today, my man. It's always a pleasure hanging out with you, and it was nice not having to
Yes.
get beat by you today. I just got to watch the other two
I
guys
know.
lose.
I know.
It was about the same for
Jay
me.
just had to get his beat down after saying he was going to
Yeah.
stop my streak on this show. So
Yeah, I think it was the long call and said you had to get out right at 6, so there wouldn't be enough time, is what it was. So.
do you not see
Well-
what Barkley's even doing over here? Like, but yes, and also yes. So that Infinity Gauntlet you have behind you, I only need one more, and then I will.
That's it.
You've
I own the
collected
show.
all of them.
I own the show. I own the
one more
company.
game, and then Jake. All of a sudden, it comes on. It's just Jake on the screen. He's like, "We're not playing games."
Welcome to my
There you
game.
go.
And then he just squeezes the poop emoji for an hour on camera.
Squeezes the poop for an hour. On that note.
On that note, if you are not already following our friend Jake on Twitter, go and fix that right now. On Twitter at AllInKid. And truly, one of the best in the space and a great friend of ours.
Favorite analyst in the space, yeah.
Top tier. Truly top tier. So make sure you're following him if you're not doing it already. That's going to be it for us this evening. But guys, myself, Joey, and our friend JB Barry are going to be live right after this over on our YouTube channel at Front Yard Fantasy for Fantasy Football Office Hours, where all we're doing is answering your questions. So if you've got fantasy questions, bring them over there to us. Or don't. Or if you don't have fantasy questions,
I meant that as like non-fantasy questions, but I guess it just came off like, or don't. We don't care.
Or don't. Yeah, JL doesn't want you to come. You can just go hang out with JL as well. That's going to be it for us this afternoon, though. Jake, thank you so much again. Thanks, everybody in the chat, for hanging out. Congrats on the W, Jake. And we will see you guys in about 5 minutes.
Hot pasta.